Good day to you. My name is Maria Kondzielska and you are watching Poland Daily Culture. With me in the studio is Ziemowit Gowin, a PhD candidate at Warsaw University in philosophy.
Hello.
Ziemowit, if you could tell one word just to explain to us how is to be a philosopher or a PhD or as a student in philosophy.
Oh, wonderful. A lot of, money, a lot of fame. Everyone is hitting on me once I mentioned that I study philosophy, that I teach philosophy, I mean.
Like the best way to pick up a girl.
The best way, yes.
I am a philosopher.
No, actually, if you love it, then it's fine. It's just, you have to ensure that you can actually focus on your work. So you need scholarships and you need some other opportunities in order to, study and write. So, it is good, but it's also difficult because you really need to study hard and you need to, read a lot, like doing research all the time and writing a lot of pieces. And one article, takes a lot of time, and there are corrections, and then you send it to a peer-reviewed journal, and you're waiting half a year, and they reject it, and so you have to start again. So. But
what I've heard, even professors get negative sometimes reviews.
Sometimes they do.
It's just the fact that the nature of this. A philosopher of this field right now.
Perhaps so.
But we are talking about Warsaw Lviv School of Philosophy, and Łukasiewicz was a member of it and one of the co-founder, I would say.
Yes, I would say that too, because he was one of the oldest generation in the Lviv Warsaw School.
So if you could tell us in few words, what kind of school was it?
Well, Lviv Warsaw School was, as we said I believe in the first episode, were founded by Kazimierz Twardowski, who studied in Vienna under Brentano, and then he moved to Lviv, where he were gathering students and teaching them especially methodology in philosophy. And this methodology can be summarized by clarity of language. So the Lviv Warsaw School then was growing, and it contained not only philosophers, but also mathematicians and, of course, logicians like Jan Łukasiewicz, but also historians. And not only that, so there were a lot of figures in that school. But as for philosophy and the school, because it was mostly a philosophical school, they were focused on logic, on semantics. They were focused on history of philosophy. Well, Jan Łukasiewicz was also a very famous historian of logic, especially of Aristotle and the Stoics.
And I think he showed to the people how what was Aristotle logic.
Yes.
And I think he written in like a modern logical language what Aristotle stated.
Yes, it was one of his most famous books. I don't now remember exactly when it was published. I think Aristotle, in modern logic terms, was published in his later period.
Even just the fact that how to take thoughts of Aristotle, which were 2,000 years before, and show the clarity of thoughts in them as well. So of course, of course, Aristotle was just basically a genius back then.
Oh well, he was the greatest philosopher.
Again, a great moment of in history where three great minds, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, just came one after another.
And remember that Łukasiewicz knew ancient Greek, so he was studying Aristotle very deeply.
What kind of mind to know Latin, Greek, and right now people have problem with English?
Yes, that's true.
We should feel ashamed a little bit.
Well, they were being taught the classic languages in their gymnasiums, which are like high schools now.
Yes, and with living in Lviv, which of course those times was Polish, but it was still on the edge and the verge of many different cultures.
Of course.
So it kind of opened your mind to the fact that you need to know different languages.
Yes, and there are different nationalities: the Germans, the Austrians,
And it was
the
in
Russians.
Hungarian, in Austrian.
Austro-Hungarian, yes.
So they needed to learn German
Of
as
course,
well.
yes.
But back to Warsaw Lviv School is the fact that one of the most prominent members of Warsaw Lviv School was Alfred Tarski, and just next to Aristotle or Gottlob Frege or Kurt Gödel, he's considered one of the great logicians.
Yes, some people think that, yes. So he's definitely the most well-known Polish logician and philosopher in the world. And, well, he's being mentioned everywhere when it comes to logic or mathematics. So everyone knows Tarski, and as I said, he left for the States, where he lived and died in 1983, I believe. And he's known for a lot of things, for a lot of axiomatizations, and especially for his semantic theory of truth for formal languages, which is, well, we are all being taught this his definition of truth, but, well, it has a lot of applications in computer science, and not only that.
Which is amazing as well, and the fact that we also, this Warsaw Lviv School of Logic had a huge influence of a way of thinking. I've read somewhere that except Henrik Elsenberg and Roman Ingarden, every single other philosopher was influenced by the school of Polish philosophers, of course.
Well, there was also Witkacy.
Okay.
Who was friends with people from the Lviv Warsaw School, but I don't think he was a member.
Probably not.
I know that he knew all of them, and we have to remember, because maybe not everyone knows it, but Witkacy was also a philosopher, and he also had a long correspondence with Ingarden and other philosophers such
Another genius.
Yes.
Oh, damn. He was not only a good writer, but he knew also himself.
A
painter, and
an artist, and a philosopher.
And again, the communists were coming, and he already experienced what Russia is and what communism is. And that's why...
Yes, he committed a suicide.
We lost so many great minds because of this tragic war.
Yeah.
And that later the time of... But if you would like to say just a few words for our viewers to remember about Warsaw Lviv Logic School, what would it be?
Warsaw Lviv Logic School or Lviv Warsaw School?
Warsaw Lviv. Lviv Warsaw School.
Lviv Warsaw School. So this was the greatest philosophical school in Poland, the greatest minds we have ever had. And actually, I believe that the so-called analytic philosophy didn't start in the UK only. It started in the UK with Bertrand Russell and George Moore, but it also started in Austria with Frege, but it also started with Twardowski in Lviv, and with his students such as Jan Łukasiewicz, Kotarbiński, Tarski, Leśniewski, and so on and so forth. So we have to remember that Polish philosophers and logicians were very influential and are widely known abroad, and that everything ended. Maybe not everything, because Kotarbiński and Ajdukiewicz worked in post-war Poland, but they couldn't teach everything they wanted. So we have some people who who are alive today and are also members of the school. Like from the University of Warsaw, we have Professor Jacek Jadacki, who was, as far as I remember, I hope I'm not wrong, but I think he was a student of Kotarbiński. And we also in Krakow have Professor Jan Woleński, who also belongs to the school and who is a great historian of the Lviv Warsaw School and a great logician as well.
Element, the influence and the roots of learning logic stay in, I would say, Polish philosophy, and it's stressed and underlined also for new students to learn the notation, to use logic as a tool to do philosophy and to learn about it.
Exactly.
Which is extremely important. And what you said, that the analytic philosophy also began in Poland with Tarski, I would say is an extremely important statement, but also
with
true.
Twardowski.
With Twardowski, with Twardowski, absolutely. I would say it's true, and if they wrote in another language than Polish, so in English, or in German more, I would say they would have much bigger influence.
Yes, it's true. Some papers written by Łukasiewicz and Tarski were in German. Virtually all works of Tarski and Łukasiewicz and Leśniewski are translated into English now.
Yes, of course, but like their contribution and the value of this work is absolutely amazing. I would say in the same level as Russell, or even sometimes logically more clarified than him. And I would say we should be proud of the Lviv Warsaw Logic School as one of the treasures of our thoughts and of our philosophy.
I agree totally.
And I do hope you share this statement with us, because they are different treasures of every country. One are materials and other are intellectuals. And I do think that Lviv Warsaw School of Logic is such kind of intellectual treasure which we should cherish and be proud of and develop in future generations. And thank you very much for watching Poland Daily Culture.